strength coach, some upper body love. Surfed quite a bit today, my shoulders hurt. This is something everybody can work on, whether you aren't surfing a lot or you are surfing a lot, or you just got bad posture, I sit at the computer posture. We want to try to realign the shoulder joint. So we're going to release some tissue in a couple stretches. This sequence you can do all the time. If you're sitting in front of the TV, work on this sequence. Lacrosse ball or tennis ball, either or. Lacrosse balls are pretty hard. Tennis ball. So all this pec tissue, underneath this pec major, is pec minor. And it hooks on to the scapula and some of the upper ribs. And it pulls protraction of the shoulder, pulls the shoulder forward. As soon as we roll that shoulder forward, it offsets the mechanics of the joint. Along with the lat and some other muscles, lats are heavily used paddling, but that'll pull the shoulder as well, pull it in. So we're trying to release that pec minor, tennis ball. Think of this area of tissue. Get into it. Up against the wall. Spend about 30 seconds to a minute. A lot of that is going to be quite tender. If you have a corner, like a corner of a wall, you can just compress up into that corner. That way you can wrap your face around the corner of the wall. 30 seconds, 60 seconds. For those that are really tight, this will be a bit sensitive. You're not going to damage tissue with the tennis ball. Massage out that tight tissue. We'll get into a pec minor stretch, but you can also work on posterior rotator cuff. So directly on top of the scapula. Not on top above, but directly on top of it. You can roll some of that stuff out. I'll get into that a bit more when we get into the lat. But for a pec minor stretch, let's say I just released this pec minor, an easy one, up against a wall. Think of trying to separate the shoulder from the pec or the chest. So it's not driving forward. And a lot of people, when they do that, they'll drive the head of the shoulder forward. What you're looking to do is elongate the space from here to here, bringing it back. So if I just release that, arm up against the wall, think of driving your nipple forward and away from your hand. So not driving super hard forward this way, a little bit forward, a little bit away. Deep breaths, 3 or 4 deep breaths. Chill, relax. That's pec minor. Tennis ball released all through the chest. Bit of a chest stretch. This is more, my phone's ringing, awesome. This is more pec major, where it's the whole arm is out, and think of turning the body away from the hand. You can do different angles. It's going to get different bits of fiber. Again, you want to do tennis ball first, all through here, pec minor, and then lat, deep breathing. Don't tense up when you're trying to stretch. Relax, breathe, get zen, stretch your chest out. Don't want to be here. Now into the lat. The lat, think of the lat and the tricep, that's doing the heavy paddle stroke. But this lat, all down the side, if it gets overly tight, it connects up to the front. So it comes up onto the front of the humerus. If that lat's really tight, it'll help pull you here. So we release pec minor, pec major with the tennis ball, stretched pec minor, stretched pec major. So we're here a bit. Now we want to release that lat. Foam roll all the way up the side into the armpit. In that armpit area and through the side, you can come more forward. You can also come more back. If you're more back when you're in that kind of armpit area, you'll start hitting some of the posterior rotator cuff, which is all good. Teres minor, infraspinatus. You can also actually get up into the tricep. The tricep gets really overly used paddling. But more so, we're doing this for the lat. Spend some time all through that armpit, all the way down the ribs. That lat's a really expansive muscle, all the way from the arm to the pelvis. You can also use a tennis ball. That's a bit more aggressive, but again, anything through there, trigger points will send some pain into the elbow or into the hands. Spend a few minutes working on it, both arms. You can come more to the backside. So again, think through here is you're getting infraspinatus, teres minor, even some teres major. All good. If you were to come a little higher, you can get posterior deltoid. Again, all these are getting really heavily used for paddling. For the most part, for this sequence, we're going after that lat. So you've released all that. Then we kind of just go into a lat stretch, which kind of like a yoga child's pose. Arms come up to the fingers, up to the ceiling. So you're externally rotating the arm. If you're internally rotated, you're shortening the lat. We want to externally rotate. Drop your butt away from your hands. You're trying to get a stretch through the armpit. Deep breaths. Fill your lungs up as much as you can. What I'll usually do is one arm at a time, and I'll bring it across my body, and then think I'm trying to drop my right hip away from my right hand, and I'm trying to get a stretch all down the side of those ribs. I can bring it over here. As you breathe in, think of inflating this rib cage. There you go, man. Work on your posture. We're trying to bring shoulders from here to here. Along with that, we need to work on thoracic mobility. Check out the website, lots of stuff on thoracic mobility. All this stuff is covered in more detail on surftrainingsuccess.com. Pec minor release, pec major release, stretch them, work on the lats, stretch out the lats, help your shoulders, help your upper body, keep yourself away from a shoulder reconstruction. If you're in Sydney, get in touch. Let's work on your shoulders, let's work on your surf fitness, get you healthy and well, fit. Use it. Cheers. Peace.